have a company in Poland and plan debt-to-equity swap operation, you may want to be aware of a few tax traps connected with this transaction. My name is Jerzy Gaweł. I'm a Polish tax advisor and a partner at Gostyński & Partners law firm in Kraków, Poland. Many of our clients are Polish limited companies with a foreign share capital. Apart from a share capital, initial operation of these companies is commonly financed by loans from shareholders. There is a good reason for this. From a point of view of a parent company, setting up a subsidiary with a large share capital is considered as an investment and thus not a preferable solution. Also, decreasing of a share capital is a more complicated operation than back payment of a loan. Therefore, setting up a subsidiary with a more modest share capital and financing it by loans from shareholders usually seems like a more flexible solution to start with. Depending on business development, a loan can be paid back sooner or later, and interest can be treated as deductible cost. But what if the business goes slow and the loan becomes a more permanent fixture rather than a temporary solution? Although by mutual agreement a loan can be extended, from a point of view of a parent company, it may become problematic over time, especially if auditors question such loan as an equity and a write-off may be necessary. A natural solution to this problem is a debt-to-equity swap. By this operation, we increase a share capital of a company in exchange for a capital contribution in form of a claim resulting from the loan. The loan amount becomes share capital and the loan position disappears from accounting ledgers of the parent company. While such conversion is a relatively simple operation consisting of resolution of shareholders' meeting and registration of the business registry, tax implications for involved parties may be severe. The aim of a debt-to-equity operation is usually to convert the whole loan position into the share capital, but a loan claim typically includes the principal and the interest. Polish law provides different tax treatment of these two components. Let's start with the main claim. As a rule, an acquisition of shares for an in-kind contribution generates taxable income for the purchaser of new shares. The income is equal to the par value of the shares. It is, however, possible to deduct the principal known amount from this income as a tax-deductible expense, but there are two conditions to be met. First, the right to deduct costs is limited to the value of the loan transferred to the company's bank account. This means that the right to deduct does not apply to interest and capitalized interest. The loan amount needs to be transferred to the bank account of the company by the same entity that obtains new shares. This means that deduction of principal amount from taxable income does not apply in situations where a loan was a subject of an assignment agreement. In case of foreign shareholders, potential taxation of income from a debt-to-equity swap needs to respect the rules of double taxation treaties. In a typical treaty, such income can only be taxed in the state in which the person transferring the property has its registered office, the place of residence of a former shareholder. For this reason, in a typical scenario with a foreign shareholder, we do not need to bother with limitations of the Polish tax law. However, the parent company needs to observe its domestic taxation rules. The conversion of interest and capitalized interest into share capital has other tax consequences. According to Polish law, the payment of interest to a foreign company is subject to a Polish withholding tax. Because there is no actual payment of interest while converting a debt to equity, not all recognize this operation as a taxable event, which is a mistake. Polish tax law specifies that payment means the performance of an obligation in any form, including through the payment, deduction, or capitalization of interest. Therefore, converting of interest to a share capital is treated as a payment and the subject of withholding tax in Poland. Polish withholding tax rate on interest to non-residents is 20%. The rate is usually reduced by double taxation treaties. To wrap up, debt-to-equity swap is relatively simple and a popular operation. It is also commonly perceived as a tax-neutral transaction, but it may not always be the case. Therefore, there are situations where it may create an income on the side of the shareholder. Also, Polish law provides different taxation rules on the principal amount and the interest. Always be sure to check these details before transaction to avoid unpleasant tax consequences in the future.